Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how to run the unsteady flow simulation in HEC-RAS 2D for our flood modeling. So now let's get started. So now we are at the point where we can run our simulation. To do that, first we're going to navigate this option called Unsteady Flow Analysis, perform an unsteady flow simulation. So we're going to click this option here. Let me click this. And a new window pop up saying Unsteady Flow Analysis. So in this step, in the first, we have this many options here, starting with the geometry file. So in the geometry file, I do have two geometry files here, but the current geometry file I'm going to select is Bald Eagle Creek. So you can able to see from here, within the geometry section, we have Bald Eagle Creek. So we're going to select Bald Eagle Creek, and followed by the second option is Unsteady Flow File. And the next option is Unsteady Flow File here. So in that, make sure that you select Unsteady Flow. So this is one in the previous video we have saved this file. Unsteady Flow File here. You can able to see I've selected this particular one. And next is Programs to Run. And for the simulation, make sure that you click this option called Geometry Preprocessor. So I'm gonna click this option. So what is this Geometry Preprocessor? So it basically preprocesses the data into hydraulic property tables and rating curves, and this particular option is done to speed up the unsteady flow calculation. And make sure that it must be executed at least once, and only needs to be executed if something in the geometry data changes. So if something in the geometry data changes, make sure that you execute select this option, or make sure that you select this option, Geometry Preprocessor. So what it does is it creates a table of elevation versus area convergence and storage. There is area conveyance and storage. So each table has a minimum of 21 points and can have up to 500 points. So in order to select this option here, first we're going to navigate to this option called the Geometry Data Editor. So once you navigate it to a Geometry Data Editor, so here, make sure that you navigate to this option called H-tab param, which is edit hydraulic table parameters for unsteady flow and velocity mapping parameters. So I'm gonna click this option, and this is done automatically by the model. So you don't actually need to set this, but it's worth knowing about these variables. So what you have to set is the model star to select starting elevation. So that's the minimum minimum elevation in the channel, and select it 1 foot above the bed of the channel. And the next column is the computation increments and the points here. So you can able to see the points ranges from 20 to 500 points, and here you can able to see the values from 95 to 100. And your program should have selected 100 points. You can able to see the majority is 100 points here. So now if you come towards the right hand side, basically each of this horizontal lines represents which represents one of those increment points, and further we can we can scroll through each of these cross sections here. For example, I'm going to select one and I'm going to select this cross section. Likewise, you can able to see, and we can see the increments points for each cross sections here. And towards this side here, the horizontal velocity mapping. So we have 3 columns here. So here we have the left overbank, channel, and right overbank. So it basically indicates the number of slices that that the channel left overbank and the right overbank sliced into for more accurate velocity calculations. So here the default here is to go into 5 slices in each of this column. So what is important in these hydraulic table is the highest profile created is as higher than the maximum possible flow out. So if your model computes the flow above the highest point, it will use just the last 2 computation increments and extrapolate linearly, which may cause some problems. So this happening in the background here. So you don't actually need to change any of these, but it is good to know that this is here because it can help with bug solving. So basically, this is what the geometry preprocessor is. So I'm gonna cancel this and I'm gonna close this. So that's all about geometry preprocessor. So the next option is unsteady flow simulation. So actually, unsteady flow simulation. I'm gonna click this. So basically, this is the engine. This actually does the computation and produce the results. And the next, we have to also select the third option here, which is post preprocessor, post processor. Gonna select this. So this we are selecting this because only a limited number of variables are computed initially by the unsteady processor, and the post processor which computes a whole range of other variables. So that is around 300 variables can be computed within this model. And below we have another option called simulation time window. So also we're gonna leave the sediment and floodplain mapping unchecked for now. And now let us focus on simulation time window, the starting date and ending date. And here we have mentioned our starting date and ending date here. So for example, let me navigate to this option, view and edit unsteady flow data. And here I can able to see the flow hydrograph, and that I'm going to select flow hydrograph. And right now we can able to see the start date, which is August 2026, and the end date we're going to come down here, and here the end date will be August 4, and going to cancel this. And similarly for tributary reach, so flow hydrograph, the date is August 1. Make sure that suppose if you have a different date, you can select this option and select the suitable date and click OK. So now right now both the tributary as well as the upper reach has a date which is August 1, and also the end date will be, you can able to see, which is August 4, 16 hours. So I'm going to cancel this and I'm going to close this. And here in the starting date, I'm going to mention as for example, so here I'm going to select the year here, and I'm going to mention the year which is 2026 August 1, and I'm going to click OK. And the end date will be August 4, and I'm going to click OK. And also we have to specify the starting time and the ending time. So again, I'm going to get back here and see that starting time and ending time. So the starting time will be at 00 hours, here you can able to see, and the ending time will be something like this for 16 hours. So I'm going to cancel this. Similarly for tributary reach, I'm going to navigate here, starting 00 hours and the ending will be 16 hours. So I'm going to cancel this. I'm going to mention the starting hours, which is 4 zeros, and the ending hours will be 1600. So this is what basically the start and end time of our simulation. And below this we have this computation settings, which is computation interval. And this computation interval is probably one of the most important variable to get right, and it needs to be small enough to accurately describe the rise and fall of the high hydrographs. So basically the rule of thumb is that it should be equal to or less than the time of the rise at the hydrographic divided by 20. So basically the computation interval should be equal to or less than the time it takes for the water to travel from one cross section to the next. And if we have structures involved, we should probably need a shorter time interval because of the rapid changes of the water surface elevation through structures. And the computation interval here, I'm going to select to be selected around seconds, around 30 seconds. Let me select 30 seconds. And next is hydrograph output interval. So here I'm going to select to around 10 minutes. Let me select 10 minutes. And the next is the mapping the output interval here. So here I'm going to select it to be around 10 minutes. Let me come down and select 10 minutes. And last, the detail output interval. So in case of this detailed output interval here, so this creates a lot of data very quickly and slows down our computation process. So it is always useful that you give this slightly a larger time interval. For example, so we're going to select it around for 30 minutes here. And last, it's going to give us the project DSS file name. So you can check you can browse a suitable folder location to save this for this particular file DSS file. And last is we're going to navigate to the file here, and I'm going to save plan as. So here we're going to give the plan name, for example, I'm going to give it as a plan 1, and I'm going to click OK. And now it a new window pop-up saying enter the short plan identifier 16 characters recommended. So I'm going to give it as a. So in this window here, I'm going to enter as plan 1 here, and I'm going to click OK. So now we can hit the option called compute here. Before there are other factors also we need to consider before running our simulation. So before hitting our compute button, I'm going to show you other options that is available. So the next video, we're going to show you those other options, and we're going to compute our simulation. So in this video, I have shown you the Unsteady Flow Simulation Setup for our HEC-RAS in HEC-RAS Studio for our flood modeling. So thanks for watching.